Can husbands assume their wives' surnames? Well, this is a question that was before the Free State Division of the High Court last year and essentially before the Constitutional Court on Tuesday. We have two couples in question here, four applicants before the Apex Court. We have Yana Jordan, who is married to Henry van der Merwe since 2021, and her parents died at the tender age of just 4 years old, and since then she's had a deep affinity with her surname, vowing to never change it and keeping her maiden surname because that was the only tie that she felt she had to her deceased biological parents. Now, when she met her husband, or her then boyfriend, Henry van der Merwe, she had relayed these thoughts to her, or her wishes to keep her maiden surname. Of course, we know that Henry van der Merwe obliged and vowed to support his wife at the time, and since then they attempted to head to the Home Affairs Department in an attempt for Henry van der Merwe to adopt or assume his wife's surname. Of course, they were told that the law does not allow for such a practice, and instead it would likely be Yana Jordan to assume the surname of van der Merwe. This is according to the Births and Deaths Registration Act, which prohibits men from assuming or adopting their wives' surnames. Now, last year in 2024, the couples approached the Free State Division of the High Court seeking a declaratory order that sections of the Births and Deaths Registration Act are unconstitutional and invalid insofar as they discriminate on the basis of gender. Now, the Superior Court granted that order, declaring sections of the Act or statute unconstitutional and invalid insofar as they discriminate on the basis of gender. Now, the couples had to approach the Constitutional Court on Tuesday to confirm the order of the High Court, because before that declaration of invalidity can take effect, the Constitutional Court must confirm the order of the High Court. Now, that is the basis upon which they approached the Constitutional Court yesterday, seeking a confirmation of that declaration of constitutional invalidity of the order of the Free State Division of the High Court. Now, the couples argue that the Act or statute violates various provisions of the Constitution, among them Section 9, which guarantees equality, and Section 10, which guarantees dignity for all. So the provision that's in dispute before the Constitutional Court of the Births and Deaths Registration Act is Section 26, subsection 1 of the statute, that prescribes that no person shall assume a surname other than that was ascribed to them and that has been included in the population register. Now, there are various categories of persons that do not fall in this category, and one of them is a woman who has now changed her marital status and assumes the surname of her husband. She is allowed to change her surname. Another category of persons that are allowed to change their surnames is a woman who is widowed and assumes the surname that she had prior to the change in her marital status, so she can then go back to her maiden surname. So women are allowed, or females are allowed, to change their surnames, but this does not apply to men. Section 26, subsection 2 of the Act allows persons to change their surnames on request to the Director General of the Department of Home Affairs, but the regulations that govern the statute indicate the various categories of persons that can actually write to the Director of Home Affairs. One of them is a woman, of course, that has changed her marital status. Two is a person whose father has declared his paternity to said person, and that person would now like to change their surname to that of their biological father. And three is a person that would like to apply for witness protection under the Act. Those are the three categories of people who can apply for a change in surname or speak or request to the Director General for a change in their surname. Of those categories, none of them apply to men, and that is a dispute before the Constitutional Court, and what the Constitutional Court is now tasked with considering. Zoleka Kotashe, Eyewitness News, Constitutional Hill in Johannesburg.